Welcome back to the Immigrant section. I'm sitting here with my friend Demi Ellis. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's nice to see you.
Hell yeah, and I got your microphone recording, you know?
Good job.
I'm not going to mess it up like last episode. We got it going good this time. Very nice to see you. You know, it's like I've been telling people, it's a little hard to get people to get out of the house right now. And as it should be, right? But it's like, even with like remaining distant and all that shit, people are still kind of like, I don't know.
I hope you disinfect these mics and things.
No, I've been disinfecting them. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm
keeping
just
them
joking,
clean.
teasing you a little bit. Thank you so much.
Good, because I have not been disinfecting them. You're done. You actually told me right before we started that you have a friend's husband or something who got COVID.
Oh yeah, so my best friend in Croatia, her and her husband, they went on a trip to London, UK, in the middle of the shit show, and like just a few days before that Trump's announcement about how everything is going.
Or Trudeau's?
No, remember when Trump gave an announcement that this is really pandemic and blah, 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 and then shit started going really bad.
Oh, like there was a couple of days where it just went...
those few days.
And she got it, or he got it.
And they were in London when that happened, and then they sent them back home, and they were self-isolating for 2 weeks, like the rule.
As you have to, yeah.
Yeah. And after 2 weeks, they had to, they left out in public, and her husband started getting sick. So it was almost 3 weeks. And after 3 weeks, he got diagnosed with corona.
Oh, shit. So he maybe didn't even get it from London. He got it when he went back outside, it sounds like it.
Well, we are convinced that he actually got it from her because she was really sick when they got back, and he wasn't sick.
Oh, she was really sick. Oh, so she got it there.
She probably got it, but she never went to get tests.
Because it was just like a flu or a fever.
It was just like a flu. She wasn't that sick. There was lack of testing and things. And then 10 days after, he was very bad.
But it's just like a normal flu?
It's just like a normal flu. They are both pretty young and in well shape and working out and taking care of themselves. So they were just having a flu. He had a fever. He was a little baby, like all the boys are always when you guys get fever. But it was
look, a fever is a good excuse to just... I don't have to do anything. I have a fever, okay? That's not an excuse. It's a fever, okay?
My mom said that in Croatia, in some supermarkets, they check you the fever if you...
with the gun. With the thermal gun, yeah.
Before they let you in. And she's like, I don't even know why are they checking men for their fever, because who saw a man going out of the house if their temperature is over 37?
Your mom's just talking shit. Hey, look, Demi's mom, okay? A fever is a good excuse. All right, what do I need? Cancer? AIDS? What do I have to get to just chill in bed and not hear nagging for? Like, you know?
I think
you're sweating. You're going. It's a fever is pretty bad. But do you miss Croatia?
I miss it a lot.
Yeah?
And now during this COVID, I've been pretty much full-time WhatsApp socialite, just living on WhatsApp, like everybody, living on WhatsApp with all of my friends. But now, for the first time, they understand how I feel, because we always just engage with each other over the screen, and never in person. But I do miss my friends a lot, and I have friends here, but I never got very close or as close here with anyone as my friends back home.
How old were you when you came to Canada?
27.
Yeah, okay. So,
27.
I mean, of course, you're leaving pretty much all the like concrete relationships.
Yeah.
Did you come here just for comedy?
No. I started doing comedy after it. So I always wanted to move somewhere and try something new and explore the world or whatsoever. And my great aunt, she's my father's aunt, she moved to Canada over 50 years ago, and she married Canadian, has 4 children that are also very Canadian. Nobody speaks Croatian. And every summer when she would come to Croatia, she was trying to drag somebody with her.
Back,
yeah. Because she was missing our culture, our people, because she got married into super Canadian family to Bob from Guelph.
Oh, literally?
Literally,
That's
like
the
it can't
most.
be more
Yeah.
Canadian than that.
That's a Canadian flag, pretty much.
Yeah.
Right there. That's amazing.
And
Her kids are named like Steve, Mark, Chris,
Darren.
Darren. Okay.
Darren, Brian.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. She's living the Canadian dream. Double doubles every day.
Canadian dream, yeah. But and then one summer she finally dragged me with her. I was actually working on the radio before I moved here. There was
doing what, like radio voice work, or like just being in the department, or?
I was working as a producer at the beginning, and then I was hosting a little weekend show, 7 to 11 a.m. Saturday and Sunday.
Croatia Super Time Hour with Demi Ellis. Come and join. I imagine it's all hard techno. That's in Croatia. Is it still just hard techno?
Yeah, we do like electronic music.
Yeah.
So here is more common to hear everything towards hip hop on the radio.
North American.
Yeah, and there is still like DJ
Armin van Buren.
yeah. Tiesto.
Yeah, DJ Tiesto.
Tiesto.
What was the hour or the weekend show? What was the name of it? Do you remember?
So it was just a weekend show, and I was basically creating the content for it and being a radio personality. So I would tell people, well, where can they go on the farmer's market, what to do that weekend in the city, and all of those, things about music. It was the station music they played was something like, let's say, Chum FM.
Okay.
Or like the 90s and mainstream.
Soft rock. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little of everything kind of.
A little of everything.
Gotcha.
It was a mainstream station, and I got into it. They had some kind of contest or competition. Competition is when you're competing.
Yeah.
I always.
The trick is that the word is in it. That's the trick.
The one host on that is really big radio in Croatian's capital, and the host from the afternoon show 2 to 6, she was looking for a producer, and they did this really big competition, and a couple of thousand people applied, and I got into top 5, and I was working on the radio. And
what do you have to do for that? Like, do you have to produce a sample?
You had to send them something about yourself, either a video or a voice or something about yourself up to 1 minute long, 60 seconds of the length.
What do you do?
And I did a video where I'm sitting at my parents have a restaurant back home in Croatia, and I did a video. I'm sitting on the. No, what did it start? The video started me in this fur coat and this big limo BMW is picking me up, and I'm all like Hollywood gracious and amazing. And I don't remember exactly what was I doing, but it was like that type of vibe. And then next scene, I'm waking up as a waitress at my parents' restaurant.
Oh, like reality?
Like reality. This construction worker is kicking me. Give me my liquor.
That's so fun.
And that was like your TikTok, that kind of videos. It was.
Where'd you get the BMW limo?
Oh, actually, it was my dad.
Oh, okay, all right. All in-house.
All in-house.
Fuck yeah. So you got top 5. This is like in the capital of Croatia?
Yeah, this was in the capital.
Which is what? I forget the name. I heard
Zagreb.
I heard it's a sick tourist destination.
It is really nice.
Pre-COVID, obviously.
Pre-COVID, so many beautiful beaches. But it's not as bad there, at least as it's better than here in Canada. We did handle it really well, despite closeness to Italy.
Yeah.
I think that's because a lot of people are still experienced from the war. I thought
that. Because Europeans, especially like former Yugoslavians. You know what I mean? They're just ready for anything, man. Fucking nuclear threat, whatever it is, they got it.
Oh yeah, they build like hospitals.
They have dry food in the basement or whatever. So
I wanted to tell you that when I was in Croatia, we had that domestic war, civil war. And I was really, really little then. But I remember at the end of the war, so where I was living, it wasn't as bad.
Okay.
But at one point, they were bombing the whole country. And then we had to hide. And my father was having some meat and cheese business at the time.
As you do.
As you do in Croatia, all we do is meat.
And cheese.
Yeah. And our house below it was full of walk-in fridges. And
in the basement?
In the basement.
Okay.
All the basement was full of walk-in fridges. And the whole neighborhood, about like 50 people, came to our house, and we all hid in those walk-in fridges.
Wow.
And we were there for a couple of weeks, my mom says, and I remember us eating meat and cheese for days because he had to turn off the
refrigeration, right? Yeah. Everyone's can you put the cold down? What, the meat's gonna spoil? What do you mean? I got a business after the bombings are gonna end. I still gotta run a business.
Yeah.
That's crazy though.
That was crazy.
How young were you?
I was 6 at the time.
Do you remember it?
I remember that it was like a walk-in fridge party. And I just started going to school. That was my first, the school just started. And I remember we were so happy, me and my friends, because we didn't have to go to school. Because we had this crazy old teacher, and she used to beat us. And this was really pretty crazy. I mean, at the time, that wasn't normal in Croatia, but it was, war, old people. It used to be normal 2 years ago.
Oh, of course.
And then this lady...
Like half the world.
Half of the world. She had a stick, huge stick.
Uh-oh.
And then she would, if you were mischievous or something, she would hit us. But I have to admit, she hit me only once when the whole class was doing something bad. I don't remember what it is. And I don't know up to this day, was I a good kid, or it was just because she was my neighbor? I don't know. She really didn't.
One time you got hit.
I got only once, but this guy, Yerkov, I will never forget him. I don't know what.
Listen up, Yerkov.
Yerko, I don't know where are you now, but she used to, Abbas, she used to hit him 40 times.
Jesus. Was he black?
Yeah.
This sounds like what? This sounds like Rodney King shit right here. What the fuck? 40 times. Was he reaching for his wallet? He's like, it's in my pocket. I'm just reaching. I'm just going for it. But she used to fuck Yurkov up though, huh?
She used to really fuck him up.
Jesus.
And he has all the stripes on his palms because she would hit him every day. And I don't know. I was thinking about it the other day. I was telling to my husband, and I don't know what would his parents say. How would they allow that? Why? I mean, he was a rebellious kid, but she would beat the F out of him.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was the type of parents that are like, my parents were like that too. Like, they trusted what the teacher would say over what you would say. You know what I mean? Like, if a bunch of kids fucked around and they got me in trouble and I got beat by, a teacher, I mean, wouldn't happen in Canada. And I said, no, the kids were fucking around. And the teacher was like, oh, he was fucking around. My parents are going to be like, I'm going to go with the teacher's side. So probably had the same type of parents where like, if you got hit, that mean you fucked up, right?
Yeah. But when did you come to Canada?
I came when I was 6.
When you were 6?
Yeah, so not exactly 27, right?
You came from Sudan?
No, I came from Oman.
Oh,
so
okay.
I was born in Sudan, and then my dad worked in Oman when I was a kid. So I left Sudan when I was 3, went to Oman, and I was in Oman from 3 to 6, and then I came and coincidentally started in first grade. So I started in Canada, like London, Ontario, right? Which is even whiter than Guelph, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Just for Bob, right? So I never really I went to Arabic school and I went to Quran school when I was younger. And those were my only experiences of like where the teachers would hit you. But those were like once a week, like in a basement or like in a weird place. Like right now, if you had a kid and you wanted that kid to learn Croatian in school, I bet you in Toronto there's some Croatian Saturday or Sunday schools, right? Those schools are run by hardcore Croatians who can't get a job, so all they can do is teach the Canadianized Croatians Croatian, right? So they get to be a little more aggressive than Canadian teachers. So that was my only experience with like the teachers who would hit you and sticks and shit like that, right?
So my cousin, one of those 4 cousins I mentioned, my aunt sent them to that Croatian school. There is one in Mississauga.
Yeah, of course.
Exactly,
There's one of everything.
One of everything.
Chinese, fucking Indian, Pakistani, whatever.
But one of my cousins told me that there were a lot of Croatian kids who were taught Croatian as a first language, even though they were born here. And we have this different letters and sounds like ch, ch, r, and things like that. And none of them were able to pronounce that, her and her siblings, my cousin.
Yeah.
And then Croatian children were making fun of them because they can't say that. And they were crying all the time. And then she just...
Oh, they're so Canadian.
Yeah,
they really are
so Canadian. And then they dropped out the school.
That's the most Canadian thing I've ever heard.
Now they just know how to say cheers.
It's like, Mom, they're making fun of us because we're at a level lower than them. Well, you don't need to be at that school anymore.
That is.
You don't have to persevere and learn anything. They are bullies and you're getting out of that school.
Yeah. Oh, so soft. People can get really soft here.
Yeah, I mean, that's my little brother and sister. They were pretty much, they came here. I came here when I was 6, and my little brother and sister were like 2 and 3. So my parents, and they do this, a lot of people in a lot of cultures, they'll send their kids back to the home country for a couple of years. So they dive them deep into the culture.
Did you go?
I didn't go, no. I was just old enough that I came, that my Arabic was still intact. And I was like in the Quran class. But my little brother did JKSK. He's like your cousins, you know what I mean? So he pretty much had no Arabic. He had he didn't have a sense of the culture as much. Because we don't have a lot of, I don't know about you, but my family, we don't have a lot of cousins. We don't have any extended family at all in Canada, or at least for the first 15, 20 years we were here. None. So no cousins, no uncles, no aunts. It's just the other Sudanese people in the city we grew up with. We call them our aunts and uncles, right? Because of the community, but they weren't actually that, right? So we didn't, a lot of people, they grow up, they're always with their cousins. You know what I mean? They're always at cousin family functions where all they speak is Arabic or all they speak is whatever the mother tongue is. We didn't have that. So we were learning English way faster than our Arabic was being reinforced. You know? You know, you were saying a lot of those kids in that Croatian school, they spoke Croatian as a first language. A lot of immigrants do, and like a lot of Arabs I know are like that, where it's like they only speak Arabic in the house. So they only grew up speaking Arabic in the house and English was at school. But for us, because my dad spoke English well, we would get our English reinforced at home. So I'd be learning English outside and I'd work on my English at home. So the Arabic was going on very little. So that's why my Arabic now is weak as fuck. It's actually a regret. I wish my parents were like, no English in the house. That would actually been better for me in the long run.
Did you go to Sudan at all since you are in Canada, or?
Yeah. I used to go like every 5 years for like 3 months for the whole summer.
Okay.
And go to the villages. We wouldn't stay in the capital. We'd stay in the villages and just go in the capital, chill a little bit. But we're always in the villages. So that's like the real Sudan experience, you know?
And when was the last time you go there?
Like 10 years ago.
10 years ago?
10 years ago was the last time I went. And I'll probably go back in a little bit because my dad pretty much lives there. He's in Canada right now, but he's like retired and he's pretty much living there now. So I'll go back. But it's like, when I go, I don't know how it's going to be because I haven't been there in 10 years. But when I go, I kind of get treated like your Canadianized cousins get treated at Croatian school. You know what I mean? They're like, they call me Canada boy.
Canada boy, yeah.
You know what I mean? You can see that, right?
Of course.
You're right? Canada boy. Oh, you don't even, they'll just be talking. There's love, but it's a lot of shit talking. It's almost all shit talking. At least how I remember it, right? Oh, you forgot your language. You forgot your this. Oh, this guy. Oh, look, Canada boy. So it's a lot of that you have to navigate through.
And how is the situation with English there? Do people speak English or?
Not the highest level of English, but like a lot of my cousins are engineers. Everybody in Sudan is an engineer, and no one has a job.
What was your joke? It comes with a passport or by the law? You have the...
I don't even remember.
Yeah,
like engineering
joke.
as an immigrant? Yeah. It's like I'm an immigrant, so obviously I have an engineering degree.
Yeah.
But in Sudan, it's crazy. Everyone is either a doctor or an engineer, like by degree, and like the most unemployment you've ever seen.
I was about to say you didn't have trouble with COVID because everyone is doctor.
Yeah, everyone just because those are the coveted things. Like, oh, do doctor, do. But there's a million schools, and only the top 3 schools, the people who graduate from there, actually are doctors and engineers. Everybody else just ends up going back to the villages and just chilling and teaching English at some like public school nearby. Or like I had a cousin, I'd be in Sudan for months. I remember when I was like 11, he was a graduate engineer, and he would just take naps underneath this tree. There was, in the villages, there's beds all over under trees for shade, and everyone's just sleeping all day. It's like country life. They all have engineering degrees, sleeping all day for months.
Wow.
Like there's no jobs.
And what is the weather? And is it dangerous?
Hot, not that, no. It's not, you know how in like, there's different types of danger in like developed places. You know, and like in undeveloped places, there's really the sense of danger is weird. It's like there's no sense that you have the full amount of security, right? You feel good because I'm a black guy here in Canada, so it's like even though I always feel safe, I always feel a little bit like.
I'm sorry. That was so funny what you said about Yerko. Was he black?
Yeah, it sounded like he was getting that Rodney King treatment. Damn. You remember Rodney King? He got his ass beat 56 hits in LA like 20 years ago or 30 years ago.
Okay, sorry to interrupt you. Yeah, so you were a black man in Canada. You stopped there.
Yeah, so you there's a little of feeling of being out of place. So it's like, if something happens, okay, like you don't want to think about race, but you do. But in Sudan, you were just a person. So it's like there's no difference between me and the next dude. If anything, it'll be some ransom shit where one of us gets kidnapped because we're the Canadians, and there's some money. That's the type of fear over there. Whereas the fear over here would be Canada's so peaceful. There's not that much fear, but extending to America as well, gun violence, getting robbed, that kind of stuff, you're a lot more afraid of in the States or in Europe than I would be in Sudan.
I actually heard something about Sudan a couple of days ago, and that's why I asked you about the safety. So my friend, my husband's best friend, his father is some kind of finance advisor. He works in finance in Africa.
Okay.
And for some reason, dude had to go to Sudan. It was before the COVID, very recently. And apparently the place, he's white, dude.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
So he's white and God knows where he was going. And apparently he came to the airport and there were 3 SUVs waiting for him.
Yeah.
And they told him pick one because they're obviously going to attack him, apparently. Okay. I don't know, is that true? That's what he told me. And then he at least is a less of a chance if there's 3 same cars driving in a convoy. So if somebody wants to attack him or rob him, they don't know where he is.
Okay, I guess so. But like that, I think is more based on what the hell that guy's there to do.
Yeah.
That's not because he's white.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I could show up with a white person and it'll be fine. I'll speak on their behalf. It'll be like, just like I've been in China, the same way that Chinese people will look at you as a black person. Same thing. And there's so many Chinese in Sudan because China invests heavily in Africa, right? So there's a lot of Chinese business activity happening. But all that guy would have to do would get into a white SUV that says UN.
Yeah.
Anytime you're in Sudan, you see a UN car, it could be any ethnicity inside. Nobody fucks with them. It's UN, right? That guy is there to invest in blood diamonds. He's there.
Who knows what is that guy do? I don't know him.
What does he do? He finance in Africa? That sounds like people are dying, okay? Pick one of these 3 SUVs. That's not normal shit. This guy, he's making money off of the lives of people for sure.
Oh my God, I may die because I told you this.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get you 3. We'll get you 3 Ubers at the end, okay? Choose one.
Choose one. Yeah. I hope you won't get the wrong one. Oh, but in Croatia, everyone is white in Croatia, and before I moved to Canada, I never saw a brown person before. Never in my life.
Is there nobody immigrates to Croatia?
No. So nowadays, in the past few years, we developed our tourism and a lot of people are coming to visit us. To visit. So it's not really shocking to see black person walking around Croatia. But on our last census, before I left, there were black Croatian citizens.
10?
10 in
What?
5 million people
Actually,
country.
10? That's hilarious.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
What about Asians? There has to be like a couple, 100,000.
It was little. It was maybe 1,000 or so. I'm not sure. It was 1,000 or 2,000 tops. It's very little.
What's the unemployment rate like in Croatia? Is it high or low? Are people not there because it's like there's really not that much opportunity for an immigrant? Or is it like a race thing? Like that?
Well, I guess because of the war, our war ended in 1995, and ever since the economy didn't completely build up or recovered, and then there were a lot of corrupted government, and now it's fine.
That's usually when the Chinese come in. You know what I mean? The Chinese are like, oh, they are unstable. It is time to be profitable.
But now it's getting better, and apparently these younger the basic salary is really low. It's like $1,000 per month.
Okay,
that's the lower.
That's killing
wage.
it in Sudan, by the way.
Oh wow,
Continue.
really?
Yeah.
But in Croatia, it's bad now because of the tourism. All of the things like if you get a coffee or if you go out to get a lunch, it basically costs the same as here in Canada.
Oh, it's disproportional.
It's completely disproportional. The rent is cheaper, but it's not crazy cheaper. Houses are cheaper, but not crazy cheaper. It's like you can find cheap house in a village, but if you want to buy something in the city, it is crazy expensive. So I don't know how those people really manage and how do they live like that. But still, everyone is super dressed up. Everyone has not everyone, but people like wearing
image and fashion,
diesel jeans and like shoes for 1,000 kunas.
Yeah. What the fuck is the kunas is the currency? That's hilarious. 1,000 kunas. That sounds like a dead currency. It's like the old like the city of Atlantis, you know?
It's named after the animal. It's not a squirrel. It's something similar to squirrel.
A koala?
It's not a koala. Oh no, I don't know the name. I'll try to find it later.
How much is 1,000 kunas for a Canadian dollar?
It's actually $200. 1,000 kunas. That's not a lot.
That's not that bad.
That's not that bad. So 5 kunas is $1.
Yeah, okay.
Approximately. Yeah.
So it'd be like 10, 15 kunas to get a coffee.
Yeah, it would be, depends where you are, but minimum 10 kunas. You would pay for like macchiato or coffee with milk or...
Yeah, that's the difference between pricing and like what Sudan has that same thing where I don't know how anyone affords anything. Like a car is almost the same price, but people are making $100 a month, $200 a month. You're like, how is anybody getting a car?
No wonder nobody's working.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Especially, over the last 10 years, the dollar is getting wrecked, for like a whole bunch of economic reasons that I can't comment on because I just don't know that well. I think the split between North and South Sudan affected it, and maybe even like the 2008 housing crisis of North America and the dollar, because everything is based on the American dollar. Like there's a whole lot of reasons, but it's just been plummeting. So essentially, like all this land that my dad owned was like, okay, this will be my retirement. It's just worth less and less every day.
Oh no.
It's just the worst. Yeah, I know. And it's like it could bounce back, and everything bounces back in decades, but it's shitty that it's going lower. Whereas you always think, okay, a house is a safe investment. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'll live in it and it'll appreciate. That's not the case always. It's fucked up to see, man, but it really makes you be happy that you're in Canada. Damn, man.
We are really so happy to be here. And
Serb? Are you on Serb?
I am on Serb.
It doesn't even feel like real life.
Abbas, when I first got that Serb, I cleaned my whole house.
You felt guilty, huh?
Front yard. Things that I've been procrastinating for 2 years. And then I didn't know what to do. Last time I got a whole bunch of money for nothing. It was for my first communion. And that time I was supposed to give myself for Jesus or whatever. Yeah. But now Trudeau just sent us money. And then I was trying to find some volunteering options here in Toronto.
That means you have a good heart. You have a big heart. You feel that guilty.
I just felt so guilty to get $2,000. I mean, it's not a lot for some people.
By the way, you can give me your $2,000 if you feel. I'll pay the income tax on it. I don't care. Just Send it.
No, but if somebody needs help, I'm looking for some volunteering job that doesn't include driving.
I love driving, but yeah, I actually was feeling bad. I actually wanted to volunteer the other day because I'm like, man, I have a lot of time. I'm getting this. I could feel a little bad, right? But then I took a nap and the feeling went away. So
I applied for.
Took care of that.
They had a lot of opportunity from the government to work in contact tracing. So if somebody gets corona, then you talk to them like, where were you? To explore the possibility, where did they get the virus?
People are doing that, huh?
People are doing that, and apparently a lot of people applied for that job because they never called me. They don't even want me to work for free.
You should have sent a video of you having a dream and then waking up as a waitress. That's the way to get that thing. Submit that same 60 seconds. They're like, we don't get it, but she's got style.
But I didn't stop. So after I didn't get that volunteering job, I called my grocery store. So there's a Sobeys very close to my house where I go every week.
Yeah.
And honestly, in this whole pandemic, I feel the most sorry for grocery store workers because
they don't stop.
They don't stop. And doctors wanted to be heroes. Same as we want to get laughs when we go on stage.
Yeah.
But grocery store workers, no. And I feel so bad for them. And then I called my Sobeys and I was like, hi, guys. Can I bring you some Balkan-style pies for your brunch today? And the manager who answered was like, who is this? Are you joking?
How did you get this number?
How did you get this number? He actually asked, how did you get this number?
Oh, did he?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, it's my Sobeys. I come to your Sobeys all the time and I feel bad and I want to give you back. And he was like, maybe you can just bring that to us when everything is over. We don't accept food from outside now.
That's so funny. Can you leave it at the door?
Leave it at the door. But he was like, you are so dumb. And then I asked, well, can you add maybe tips to your grocers so I can leave them a tip? He was like, no, we won't do that. And then I just gave up, made a batch of edibles and gave them to my friends with children so they can relax.
Oh,
that was I'm so bored and I feel like I have to give back to the world, but I don't know how.
How's your weed budget been? Has it gone through the roof? Because I know you're already dropping hard money. If you don't know, Demi is like the weed chick, big time. Like weed comedy, just the weed stuff, always the joints, always the edibles. Anytime I see you at a comedy show, I'm like, Demi, you got to join.
You got to join. And my Demi Baked comedy show where I would
literally your comedy show was like weed themed, right? In the underground comedy club, which hopefully will reopen or we'll find a new venue for it. Yeah, we're talking about that, but
I really hope so.
All the best to Puff Mama. Wish her the best.
She's so nice.
She's the best. Yeah, I really hope she finds another venue.
She really helped me a lot through my comedy because I did her competition. You know how she does that competition?
Yeah. The one she was running with Max, I think.
Yeah, Max was running that with her and Keith for new comics. And then I made it there through to the finals. And that's how she got to see my sets. And she saw me performing several times. And after that, she would give me so much stage time.
Yeah.
On good and bad shows, on everything. Like, she would always call me. And I'm always there for her if she needs anything. Such a sweet lady.
She pretty much did this exact same thing to me, you know. I showed hustle, and then there's a lot of people that even if they see your hustle, they don't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. They just don't care. They don't care to know you, or they don't care to open up to you.
They even dislike you more. Some people.
Yeah. If you're out every day, or if you're hustling too much, it's like because they're threatened by it. But Puff Mama's the best. As soon as she understood that anytime she has a spot, I will take it. Anytime. Even if it's like every day, twice, it doesn't matter, right? And then as soon as she realized that, she's been hooking me up left and right. Like, I ask her every time. She actually throws you money. I was talking with Max. It's so rare at our level to do a show and like they pay you. You know what I mean? Like, unless you do a headlining or a feature spot, but at a spot where you're just doing 7 or 10 minutes and she'll toss you money. Yeah. She doesn't have to, and you're not doing it for the money, and it's like, keep the money. You know what I mean? Keep this place alive.
And it's just the whole energy of that place and how all the comics get together. And you and Max were talking about it. That there's
it's
no
the best vibe.
douchery. And it's just a nice, welcoming family vibe.
Because she's got a very mom feeling, you know, Puff Mama. And that's actually part of her name. But she fosters that kind of like, this is a family, like, don't fight. Hey, you two, stuff like that kind of thing. So actually, I love that. I love her for it. And then I hope for the best. I really do. Whenever we get back to the stage, whenever the fuck that is.
I don't know. Where is that going to happen? I feel like I'm more likely to make a show in my backyard than in a club.
They're going to arrest you, though. They're going to come. You have, if you have over 4 audience.
Yeah. Not now. But
in the meantime, you can continue to smoke an ungodly amount of weed. What was it? I've been buying by the ounce since COVID.
You need to hear this. This is absolutely hilarious. So before the COVID, my husband was gifted a few seedlings, weed seedlings, and he did the whole setup in his closet, like bought a light and all of the humidifiers, dehumidifiers, and things. And he was playing with it, and that kept him occupied for these past few weeks while we are all locked down. And the other day, I was joking with my Croatian friend who has COVID, and who had her husband. We don't know about her, but she probably gave it to him.
She had it first
because she was eating from all the buffets. She says in UK, so that's probably where she got it.
There's probably 100,000 people that have COVID because of her
because of her. But anyways, she was saying, and two of us were joking, we should name that weed COVID, you know, the strain, because it was some random strain that didn't have name, and we were supposed to give them names.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's name it COVID, like with WEED, like weed,
COVID,
but COVID. And I told that to my husband, and he was like, wait a minute, babe. Actually, that is COVID, because the guy who gave him weed, his name is K-O. So it is, after all, COVID. I'm like...
What have you guys been up to? Is he a big smoker, your husband? I met the guy one time. I think I met him a couple times, actually.
You
right?
did. He's actually your big fan.
Yeah, you were telling me he loves my comedy. Huh?
He loves you and Polichikio. Two of you, which I find really interesting, because he doesn't even know that you two are buddies. You are buddies with Polichikio.
Oh, me and George's my boy, yeah.
Yeah, and he really likes two of you and basically dislikes everyone else.
Yeah?
I'm just joking.
Fuck that.
But he rarely says compliments to comedians, you know, but he really is. And when I said that I'm going to do your podcast, and he was like, that's really good, babe. Sometimes you do things in comedy that are not worth your time, but this is.
You're like, wow, okay, that was unnecessary.
I was like, wow.
What are you
You're
guys...
becoming Croatian.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Nice and not nice in the same sentence.
And now he just needs some diesel jeans and he's all set, right? Put Tiesto on the back. Yeah, fucking Tiesto hour this weekend. What have you guys been up to this whole time? Just movies?
Just movies. We started watching recently Rhythm and Flow on Netflix. Have you seen that show?
That's like about rap, right?
It's rap. It's like The Voice, but with rap.
Yo, I watched one that was so cringe. Some guy forgot.
Oh, yeah, they keep
forgetting. And his shoe fell off or something. I don't know if you watched that episode. His shoe flew off. And like he forgot the rap and it was all attitude. You know how it's attitude? So he remembered the attitude, but he forgot the lyrics.
Oh my God.
So he was like, and then he was like, fuck. He was like, fuck. And all the coach or the judges were like, damn it. The attitude was so on point. What a shame.
You should do your take of that show or hip hop in general for your TikTok. You were pretty funny now. But what I enjoyed the most at that show is Cardi B. Oh my, what kind of creature is that?
Is she a judge in that?
She is a judge.
She's a judge, yeah.
I'm familiar with her music and things, but I never saw her actually talking and behaving. She doesn't even have eyes. It's just like her lashes and everything, like...
Oh, her lashes are like a foot long, huh?
Foot long.
They're like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
Yeah, and she's
she could fly with that shit.
She talks like that.
Yeah, she's like,
everything
Do you remember Snooki from Jersey Shore?
Yeah.
Cardi B's like the black version of Snooki. She like, we were running, you running from the top. Yo, we were running and he found like that. Yo, I don't even know if that was right, but it's kind of like, she's like a creature, you know?
It's really like, she is like a creature. There is no real person. And it's like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And you're, what are you saying?
Yeah. We will rob him.
Sometimes I always have the
subtitles for Cardi B.
subtitles because of my English. English is my second language. And then for her, sometimes they don't even put subtitles because they don't know what to write.
Because it's too rude.
What is she saying?
It's too rude to put question mark, right? They're just like, the guy in the back in the booth is like, I don't know.
That is insane.
Tell her to twerk. We don't understand what she's saying.
But it's really interesting show. That and The Masked Singer. Those are our two favorite quarantine ones.
You love those style, right?
Actually, this is the
like
accident.
The Voice style.
Not really. I never watched Voice, but I do really love hip hop. So that's why I was so interested in the show. And then we were just laughing at Cardi B. It's just too entertaining. I can't believe that somebody lives like that, and she's pretty good rapper. How she can't put a single sentence together?
Yeah, it's all flow and attitude, right? Half of relationships is just hating the same person, you know?
Yeah.
Let's just go to Google Images and type in Cardi B and just hate for the whole night. Get popcorn, roll some joints. We'll hate this bitch all night.
I'm not even hating her. She's really entertaining.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're like you celebrate her success. You know.
Yeah.
You're like, go for it, get it, right? But it's just like, it's so easy to hate on some people. It's awesome. Flavor Flav, Cardi B. Who else? Half of Migos. Migos is so easy. You know what I mean? Like, she's with Offset, right?
Who?
Cardi B's married to Offset.
I think so.
Offset
she
from
has
Migos.
A baby. She has
Offset,
a baby.
Takeoff,
with him.
and Quavo.
Yeah.
They're hilarious. They're so easy to hate on. Like, half of rap now is so fun to hate on. And like, I still enjoy the music, you know? I just hate for the enjoyment of hating. I'm a hater. In the house, I hate from a distance, you know?
Well, before I moved to Canada, my only knowledge and introduction to black people was through hip hop. Because
not those 10? You never met any of those 10 people?
I never met any of those 10 people, never seen them. I think still it's a lie.
Yeah.
But I was always listening and enjoying hip hop. And when I moved here, I worked in one super fancy restaurant in Yorkville, and a lot of celebrities would come there, and they still have photos of all the celebs that were there. And just to make it clear, I did not think that all of the black people are rappers, but I just thought
most of them.
I just thought that only rappers are dressing in the baggy style with all the bandanas and chains and things.
Yeah.
And there was a photo of the crew, maybe 6 or 7 black guys, all dressed up like Tupac, with like completely that style,
like 90s Tupac.
90s Tupac. And I asked our manager, "Who are these rappers, Paul?" And he was like, "Demi, that is LeBron James and his entourage." Holy moly, that was 5 years ago, and I was very fresh off the boat. But I was so dumb. And it was
LeBron dresses like that. I thought LeBron dresses like very like fatherly, like a role model. You know, I thought he dresses more like he'd have like a Nike fucking blazer jacket or something. They all had bandanas and shit.
They all had bandanas, and that was 5 years ago, and probably the photo was maybe at least a couple of years ago. So maybe that's from
when he was
his
young.
Younger days, and it was old school photo.
Gotcha.
And that same day, I was serving Martin Short, the comedian.
Martin Short.
You know?
Yeah, I think I do.
He's Canadian, I believe.
Martin.
And I also didn't know who he was. And then that tall guy from the Raptors, the white, super sweet.
The one with the beard?
The one with the beard.
I met him too, huh? I met that guy in a mall one time. right after they lost. And then right after they lost the finals, what's his name? I want to say Shevchenko or some shit like
Something
that. You know
like
what I mean?
That. But he was really sweet.
Valasuvis or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he was a good dude.
But they would always send me to those famous people because I never knew who anyone was. The other girls would know, and it's kind of like, ooh, you're an NBA superstar. And I was just like, well, I'm from Croatia. Yeah. This is our fish. It's Croatian restaurant with Croatian background.
Oh,
they sell fish.
What's it called in Yorkville?
In Yorkville, it's called Yosos, and it exists there for over 30
All
years.
the rappers came to this fish restaurant? This Croatian?
Actually,
this was the spot?
Drake did the cover of his album, one of his first albums there. He used to go there so often.
What's it called again?
Yosos.
Still going? It's still open?
It's still open. I mean, not at the moment, but it's still open.
Naturally, yeah.
Yeah, they serve, on the seacoast, they give you that's how it's in Croatia, they give you the tray of fish.
Yeah.
And then you have to present all the fish. What is it called? What is the texture? What is the flavor? And I used to do that. And then you bring the fish. And the guy who opened the restaurant, he passed away. His son is in charge of it now. But the guy, original one, he was a sculpturist, an artist.
Yeah.
Obsessed with female body. And the whole place is full of butts and boobs. And we were supposed to be dressed in super tight dresses, wearing the lipstick, red lipstick.
It's Yorkville,
It's Yorkville. Yeah, it was really, really, really interesting place.
Do you have any crazy stories from there?
Well, not really, because not really. Well, it was always so. It was completely crazy, the place, and a lot of people like maple. What is that food? Maple
syrup?
No, the Maple Leaf Foods, the company that makes food.
Like meat?
Yeah.
Maple Lodge?
Or
like they do like meats, like they give you chicken and like.
That guy or the Hakim guy, Hakim Optics, they were regulars there.
The Hakim Optical owner?
Hakim
and the Maple Lodge guy?
And the Maple Lodge guy and things, and the lady
That's so funny. Hakim Optical is like a big chain of like fucking optics. Like obviously it's a glasses place all over Canada. That's so funny. Their owner is just always at the... Is he Croatian?
No, he's...
Just super into fish?
Yeah, and his office, his headquarters, I guess, were across the street in Yorkville. So he was there all the time. Yeah. And a lot of people probably live around there. And they would just hang out. But it was pretty crazy.
Do you remember what your first impressions were of Canada when you came?
Oh, yeah. I was so shocked that everyone is asking you, how are you? And I would answer to people. I would tell them how actually I am. Oh, I'm good, but a little bit annoyed because Subway was taking too long. It stopped again. And then
you're supposed to just say good. Yeah.
I didn't know it comes without a question.
It's not a real question.
It's not a question. That and shocking thing for me was also when you come to somebody's house that you need to bring your own wine or whatever you drink. You need to bring your own drinks.
At a party.
At a party.
Yeah, for sure at a party.
For sure at a party. In Croatia, it's not like that. I mean, you always bring something to people, to the house you're coming as a gift. But if you are in my house, I will serve you my wine or whatever I have in the house to give you. I mean,
so the understanding in Croatia, if you like have a party, if you plan a party, you are providing alcohol for everybody.
Yeah.
I expect some gifts, but here it's like bring your own beer, bring your own whatever you're gonna drink, bring it, because usually it's more like I'm opening my place so you can come drink here, but don't expect that I'm just gonna have like everything. It's always bring your own thing and bring a gift. So you were shocked that.
I was shocked with that and the birthdays. So here in Canada, I don't know how it is in Sudan. I'm really curious. But
not a thing. Birthdays are not a thing in Sudan. I'll tell you that.
So in Canada here, people treat you for your birthday. So if it's your birthday, I'm your friend, I'm going to take you out for lunch.
Yeah.
I'm going to pay for it.
Yeah.
We are out having drinks. All of the crew, everyone will buy you a drink. And you as a birthday boy will never pay for anything.
Yes.
While in Croatia, You have to, if you decide to celebrate your birthday and take your friends out, you have to pay for everything. That's your treat. Backwards. You pay for everything. Sometimes your friends are good and they will pitch like 100 kunas, which is $20.
Kunas.
Kunas. But yeah, so you have to take care of everything. And that was always so weird to me. Now I understand.
Wow, that would change everything if that was the custom here. You wouldn't see people doing shit for their birthdays. Yeah. They would disappear on their birthday. You know?
It's way better
isn't it your birthday? Oh, I got COVID. Fuck off. Stay back. I'm paying shit. I'm not giving out the serve money, you know? Shit, I volunteer.
Like, yeah, you use your own serve money for the party.
In all the former Yugoslavian countries, is it like that? That whole region? That same custom?
Yeah.
Serbia, all those places?
Mm-hmm. We have those very giving customs. And when somebody comes to your house, you just feed them and give them drinks or anything you have, like shirt off your back,
so like, or whatever, whatever they require, right?
Yeah.
When you were 20, 21, 22, when you turned those ages, did you have to buy everyone shit?
For
your birthday?
Yeah.
Like your birthday's coming up. You're turning 22 in a week. Yeah. And you're telling your friends, are you planning it?
So you are planning it and everything. Yeah, here people
and then you invite, everyone does it for you here, right?
So everyone does it here for you. That's unbelievable. So in Croatia, I was lucky because my parents have a restaurant. So I used to do those really crazy birthday parties every year.
Always there.
And they had like a marble bar and people would be dancing on that bar. It was really, really insane. And I was lucky in a way that it's their place, so it doesn't cost as much, even though it still costs. And then somehow my parents would cover for it or whatever. But some other people that were supposed to take you out for a dinner, and it will be like 10 girlfriends, and then you have to pay for all of that. And it's same for the bachelorette party. My friend had bachelorette party.
Yes.
She was like, it's apparently the custom that you and your maid of honor are supposed to pay for it. I'm here already for 5 years and I'm losing some of those customs. I'm happy to keep, some of them, but I keep forgetting what is going on. And then I come there and then I was like, we were in Amsterdam for my bachelorette. I was like, was I supposed to pay for all of that? Oh, fuck. There's probably talking behind my back.
Just say you got
Canadian
too fucked up.
girl like you.
Yeah. I'm so fucked up. I forget what the Croatian customs are. Just pay for me. We'll figure it out in the morning. We'll Venmo each other.
We'll split.
Let's just have fun tonight. That's so funny. I agree with our version for the birthdays. I think on your birthday, them paying, that makes more sense. But for like bachelorette party and all that stuff, it's like you have a huge expense for the wedding. Add a little more and cover the bachelorette party or the bachelor party, whatever it is. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But for the birthdays to be like, yo, it's my birthday, man. This birthday is going to cost me $2,000.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
It's unbelievable. You do always get presents, but still, it's really insane. I still can't get over the birthday thing. But for 2 years at least, I thought you guys are wrong here in Canada. I was like, why would anyone pay me anything for my birthday? I have to celebrate it.
That's so weird.
So weird. It's so weird.
And then you go to Sudan, you even bring up the notion of birthday. You look so spoiled. And your parents, like if you say it's my birthday, I want a thing. Like your parents are like embarrassed if there's company.
They just stuck you in the SUV.
It looks like you spoiled, one of three. Which one's killed this? Yeah,
and they tell the people where you are.
It's the middle one. Shoot it down.
Take them. We don't need them.
Like definitely like with the rich kids. With the rich kids in Sudan, it's a very similar life to North America and like first world. Mm-hmm. Like the rich families there, from what I've seen, in the weddings, they get alcohol, even though alcohol is totally forbidden in Sudan.
Oh, okay.
Because it's Sharia law, it's Islamic law. You know what I mean? So you can't even sell alcohol. You can't drink. You'll get arrested if you drink alcohol. You know? But like at weddings and stuff among the rich and like because it seems the richer people get, the less conservative they are, right? They're more liberal with these things, right? on that level, people have birthday parties and stuff like that. But for the regular Sudanese people, like the vast majority, birthdays are not a thing, you know? Not at all. That's only a thing here. And like even here, my parents are like, ugh. Because like my brother, sister, like, it's my birthday next week, and like, what is gonna happen? And it's like so Canadianized, and they didn't grow up with that, and they're like, ugh, fuck this shit. Okay, we'll get you a cake. It'll say the number of your age, and we'll get balloons, and that's it. Be quiet.
Are your brothers here or in London?
I'm here alone. Everybody is in London.
Everybody. When did you move to Toronto?
Back in 2018, but I used to live in the States before Toronto. You know, because I used to do engineering, right? I used to do engineering in the States for like 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017. And then I moved back. I lost my job and I got kicked out of the States pretty much. And I moved back to Ontario. But that was the moment that I was like, oh, I'm not doing engineering anymore. I'm just going to do comedy. And then I moved to Toronto.
How did you get into comedy at all?
I did engineering, and then I was just so depressed doing engineering, and I didn't know what it was. And I've always loved stand-up. I watch stand-up almost every day from like the time I was like 11 or 12, and the internet was like, now you could have high speed and stuff like that, to the time I was like 24, 25. I probably watched stand-up every single day of my life, you know? I was obsessed, but I couldn't see it. I was so in the mindset as an immigrant that I had to do engineering, you know? So I did it. I graduated, and I had the job before I realized, before I even could be honest with myself, that I hate this. This isn't for me, you know? I'm cracking jokes all the way through university, 5 years. My friends are like, how are you in this class? You're just making jokes all the time. Why are you doing engineering? And I'm like, nah, fuck it, man. It's all about engineering. And then you do it, and you're like, oh, this is terrible. I don't like this at all. And then to be honest with you, I read a book. I read this book that was like, because I was like so depressed with how this career stuff was going, because I felt so empty. I'm like, oh, this was where, if you asked me when I was 10 what I was going to be, I would tell you engineer. So this was like the North Star I was going towards for like 15 years. And then all of a sudden it's like, I'm here, and it's like, I hate this. You know what I mean?
What kind of engineer were you?
My degree was nanotechnology engineering, which is like very small things, like the nanoscale. But the work was program management for a mechanical engineering company. It's actually very easy work. Mm-hmm. Phone calls, emails, meetings is the majority of the work. Pretty easy, but I hated it. I didn't like it, right? So I just read this book that was like, I read this book legit called No Rules, I forget, No Rules, No Excuses or something like that, by a professor at the University of Waterloo where I went. And the gist of the book was that you will not be able to compete in whatever you do unless you're doing it out of passion. That's the theme of the book. If you're doing something and it's not out of passion, sooner or later you're going to fail. So I'm like, here I am doing engineering, and I hate it, and I know it, and I'm going toward a wall. So it's like, what do I like? And then for the first time I thought, why can't I do stand-up? Why can't I do stand-up? Because in my whole life, I thought, stand-up is these gifted, chosen people. They're chosen. They're special. There's something else. I'm going to be an engineer. I'll always love stand-up, but that's different. That's them. That's the special people, right? And then it took me at the lowest moment of just like being like so unsatisfied with work to be like, fuck it, what do I have to lose? So I was living in Detroit at the time, and I just went and did an open mic. And I never looked back. It went terribly. It was horrific. Horrific. Worst case scenario, but...
Worse than Groove Bar?
Yeah, it was a nightmare. Yeah. I went at 10. I got up at 1 a.m. There was like 2 people watching, and I went up and I started eating it so bad, they left. They couldn't watch me do how badly I was doing, you know? It was 5 minutes. I only wrote 3 minutes, and I just walked off stage. I didn't even say, thank you, my name is Abbas Wahab or anything. I just was like, done. And I waited 3 hours for it, and I didn't sleep well for 3 days after. It was such a hard bombing. Because I thought I was be funny.
Or embarrassed?
Yeah, I wrote it. This is how fucked up I was in my head. They're like, it's a 5-minute open mic. So I was like, let me write some material. So I wrote like 6 jokes. They're all tied to each other. And I budgeted time for laughter. I was like, 5 minutes of material, that means 2 minutes of laughter, 3 minutes of jokes. So the first joke tanks and I immediately crumble. The sweat starts coming because I realize no other of the jokes are going to make sense because the first one didn't work. And I'm just sweating. I'm doing this. The people are looking away because it's so painful to watch. They're leaving. It's 1 a.m. It's on a Monday night in Detroit. And it was just horrible. I just left. I left smiling as if I was like, oh, yeah, it's an open mic, but I was destroyed, destroyed. And I went back in a week, the next Monday, and I went back, and then I moved to California, and I started doing it every day. And then that's when I started getting decent.
Where in California?
San Francisco.
And how long have you been living there?
Not even a year, because I was working like Silicon Valley over there. Mm-hmm. Not even a year, but I would go there, and the scene in San Francisco is great for comedy, It's similar to Toronto, like every day you can get up on stage. So it was amazing. Detroit, not so much. You can get up. I didn't even know the scene. Nobody was telling me anything because, for the first many months of doing comedy, no one cares who you are. The first couple of months, I don't know how it is for you as a girl. It's probably different for you as a girl, because like you come in, all the guys are probably trying to help you and shit like that. Hey, I can help you with material writing and stuff like that, right? For me, it's different. For me, it's like, fuck, who's that? Fuck that guy. He'll be gone in a month. No one talks to you. So it was like that forever. And then in San Francisco, I got past that stage where they're like, yo, you show up every day. What's your name? So I started getting some comedian friends and I'm figuring out how to do it slowly. And then lost that job, moved back to Toronto and was 100% in it.
And you haven't been working as an engineer here
ever
in
since.
Toronto
ever
at
since.
all?
Yeah, no, never. I'll never again, yeah.
So now you do comedy full time. I mean, before the pandemic. Hours-wise.
Yeah. Money-wise, it's almost none of my money is from comedy.
Do you drive Uber? Still?
I did, but my car got too old. I don't like Uber anymore anyways. Some acting stuff, some background acting. I MC weddings.
Oh, okay,
I do a lot of little this and that just to keep the whole thing afloat. But definitely no office job, no engineering. It's too many hours of something that's not for you, Mm-hmm. It's too many hours working for like a corporate mandate. It's like this corporation has decided what their goals are, and now I'm going to commit 40 hours of my week to help them achieve it. Fuck that,
Ooh, it really sounds like fuck that when you put it like that.
Yeah, that's the worst way to put it, right? I mean, in reality, you have your own little space, you have coffee, it's nice. But you get to a point where you realize the more you make, the more responsibility you have, and the less you can fuck up. It's like the way at the highest level, like in San Francisco, it was almost like a high-paid prison. You're getting a lot of money, so you took it, you accepted it, so you have to do everything. You have to travel right when they need you to travel. You have to do this right when they need you to do this because you accepted the money, you accepted the task at hand. So it's like a high-paid prison. You're in business class. Look, I'm flying business class. I did it. But it's like I don't like doing what I'm doing,
Yeah. I work, before this I worked at the hockey games at Ricoh Coliseum. That is my side gig since I moved to Canada. You know those VIP suites, like the boxes?
Yeah. You wait those?
Yeah, so I'm one of the hostesses.
Yeah, did they tip like crazy?
That is crazy, the tips. And sometimes sometimes you make zero because they add out the gratuity so people don't tip. But sometimes you can make $500 in like 3 hours. Just in tips. But
that's what you get for being a hot chick, though. That's how it works. Well, that's how it works. That's how life works. I can never make $500 in 3 hours from tips. That'll never work for me.
I was joking, so I was working for Marley's, and then I was trying to make Marley's is like the ones that say they are developing leaves. The Toronto Marley's.
Oh, gotcha.
And I was joking. I was not hot enough to work for the actual Maple Leafs.
Oh, fuck them. Actually,
no, I was joking like that, but maybe nobody told me. They were very Canadian about it.
Oh yeah, they're like your cousins, huh?
They're like, we actually gave Samantha and Justine the positions. If they can't come in,
we have your number. All right, we'll reach out. Thank you very much, Demi. Thank you, Demi. Yeah.
But those $500 sometimes I would make in tips would mean less to me than $10 somebody would give me from the set. Like those $10 from the comedy set
feels more.
I remember, I will never forget when Matt Duffy gave me $5 for performing at the Comedy Gold. It wasn't even a good night or anything, but those $5, I still have a photo on my Instagram with it.
I still remember too.
It's just like $5 that I worked the hardest for.
When I first moved back to Canada, I didn't go right to Toronto. I moved to London, where I'm from. And I got back on my feet a little bit. And in that time, I was driving all around Ontario to like the southwestern Ontario, little like gigs here, gigs there. And I still remember Wally Warwick, Bramsterdam, Brantford. And I still go there. Like it's a weed cafe in Brantford. And I drove in like the worst weather to get there to do 7 minutes. And he gave me $40. And two 20s. I was like, what? 2 20s for just doing 7 minutes? It blew my mind. That was the first time I got paid.
Yeah.
It's the best feeling in the world, huh?
It is really good feeling. And all the comics talk about that moment when they first get paid. I just finished reading Tiffany Haddish's book about her life.
About her biography, yeah. I never read it. Is it good?
It's actually
She had a crazy life. I know. I've heard what her life was.
Absolutely insane life. Yeah. And you're like, you read and it's like, is this soap opera? Is this real? What is going on? How are you still alive? But I liked it, and she was talking about the moment when she got paid for the first time $50, and it was a lesbian party. She bombed the hardest in her life ever, but that was the day she decided, I want to do this and be paid for it. Even though she bombed. And
that's the worst feeling, though, when you bomb hard and they still pay you. Yeah, one time that happened to me and I was like, nah, I'm good. I bombed to it. They're like, nah, just take the money. Don't be stupid. It was like $10, right? I bombed so hard and they're trying to pay me. It was the worst feeling. I was like, but now it's like, now it's like, once we go back to comedy, whenever the fuck that happens, shit, I could bomb in front of everybody. Give me my money, boy. Give me my money, you know? I need this. This is because now it's like, I think of it like as my business, right? You know? It's like, no matter... I came, I did the job. If you guys didn't like it, I'm out here working this every day. It works. You guys didn't like it? Maybe I suck. Maybe you guys are not about it, but give me my $17 or whatever it may be, you know? It's not like we get paid well, right?
But it's so hard to produce a show. On the other hand, when I look from the producer perspective,
so much work,
so much marketing, so much obligations and stress, and no money, no matter.
Oh, there's no money. We were talking last time. Yeah, there's no money in it. There's no money in it at all.
Yeah, not even
unless
to
you
cover
get a really
expense.
good show. Yeah, unless you do a big show in like your home. There is ways to do it with money in it, but it's not easy. Any way you do it, it's always stress. And the only silver lining to it all is, thank God I have this experience in like program management for all the years I did it. So organization, management, communication, all that stuff comes really easy to me because I did it for so many years. So sending an email, speaking to the venue, lining this up, making sure this, but all that stuff that is like a lot of comedians have difficulty with because they don't have a corporate background. It's just, that shit's just easy for me. Just done, you know? So thank God for that. But still, it's not like I'm making any money out here. You know, Serb is making everything go around these days, huh?
Serb.
Thank God for Serb.
I hope they will let us move around Ontario soon. The state of emergency is, I think, extended until 19th of May. And if they release us after that, my husband and I, we are planning to run away to the cottage. If of course the government.
I didn't even know
us.
that was a thing. We can't leave Toronto technically. We've been doing that all the time.
I mean, you could, but if we go to the cottage, we can't really access it because it's on an island, and then waterways are closed.
Oh, gotcha. You need a ferry or something.
Yeah, you need to get on the boat. And
his family has a cottage?
Yeah, they're so Canadian. They have a cottage.
That's amazing, though. That's what it's all about, knowing people with cottages, huh?
Yeah.
That's half of being an immigrant in Canada. Who has the cottages here? Yo, let's land this thing, though, Demi. We're about an hour, 10 minutes.
It was so nice to chat with you.
Do you want to plug the...
conversation?
Yeah, hell yeah. This has been a long time coming. You want to plug the Culture Shock?
Yeah, so I've been trying to put together this little podcast that is with similar topic as Abbas's.
She copied me.
I totally copied him, and then I was like, oh my God, I have to change this so it's not the same.
It's a better name, though. Way better name. I saw the name. I'm like, fuck. I should have called it that.
It's Culture Shock Comedy with K, and what I basically do is I play a short set, 7 to 10 minutes, from one of Toronto's diverse comedians who either are immigrants like Abbas and me, or Canadians who lived abroad. And all of those people, they share and tell jokes about their culture shock. And then after the set, I talk to them and we discuss how much of those jokes are true and how it's actually to live in their country or whichever country they are talking about. And each episode will be dedicated to one country. I just did one show so far and I'm working on second episode now. But
have you released it?
I released the first episode. It's available on all the platforms at the moment.
Okay, well, I'll put it in the description.
Thank you. And second one is coming soon, but everything is so slow with me due to COVID consumption. COVID.
And what's your handle again, your Instagram?
My Instagram handle is Canadian. That's short for Croatian Canadian.
Goddamn, okay.
A Canadian with a bite to it.
That I'm going to plug too, because no one's going to... Canadian, there's a 7 in there for some reason. From my end, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, 5 stars, throw up a review. I saw some people left some sick reviews. I appreciate that big time. That lets like the algorithm or whatever like put you in front of people. I don't know how it works, but you know, if you want the podcast to get out there, those reviews help. Clicking 5 stars would actually really help. So I appreciate it if you would. And Spotify, click follow, tell people about the Immigrant section. As always, I put the full episodes on YouTube the Wednesday after it drops on audio. So Tuesday for the audio, Wednesday for the video. You know it. Just check out the YouTube page for everything's on the YouTube page. Check it out. Click subscribe. Click subscribe on the motherfucker. Subscribe. But yeah, as always, thanks so much for coming to the Immigrant section. Tell your friends about it. As always, I'll see you next week. Peace.
Bye.